escalated a little bit since I last did a video, and I'm running the Tokyo Marathon. It's not even clickbait. So yeah, I ran the Berlin Marathon 5 weeks ago. I got a new marathon PB. I ran a 3:30:13, and I now have a place in the Tokyo Marathon, which is crazy. Today's my first long run since Berlin, so heading out to run about 9 miles. And I thought today I'll do a short update video, basically to share what the plan is for Tokyo, how on earth I got in, and I will do a very brief debrief on Berlin, but won't go into that in a huge amount of detail. But yeah, let's talk about Tokyo. Okay, first things first, a little bit of Berlin chat. To be honest, I've thought about this and I haven't got a lot to say about it. Obviously I ran a big PE, 23 minutes off, and I called it quite early on, said it was going to be the race of my life. 10k to go. This may be the race of my life, to be confirmed. And it turned out that it was. And from the day itself, there's not really a lot to unpick. In terms of moving forward, there's a couple of things. So although I did much better at my fueling, hydration was still not great. When I finished, I had an overwhelming feeling of thirst, and I'd only consumed about 500 ml of water with electrolytes throughout the whole race. So yeah, that was pretty terrible. Other than that, it's really boring, but it went well. Yeah, everything leading up to it, sleep, rest, fueling, all good really. So that's boring, so I'm not going to go into that too much. If you haven't actually seen the video itself, I will link it. It obviously unpicks a little bit more and you can see how things kind of unfolded on race day. What was interesting though was that I managed to run such a huge PB with a really unconventional training plan, or unconventional for me at least. Okay, so the main reason why it was unconventional was that it was a really reduced marathon training block. So I've done 5 marathons, and prior to Berlin I've done the full-on 16-week shebang, which what I'd say is probably the most traditional way to train for a marathon. I don't know, probably not, everyone's different, but it's pretty textbook, 16 weeks. However, with Berlin I found out quite short notice, so I only found out with about 10, maybe 11 weeks to go. So it was a condensed 9-week training block. I also was on holiday for like the last 2 weeks. So I was travelling across America, did do some training while I was out there, but it took a backseat. I was in Vegas, guys. I was on the beers. So I guess for me there's a couple of things there. One, it makes me think I am capable of so much more. If I can run a PB like that, with a less than ideal lead up, I feel there's a lot more there. The second big takeaway is that I don't think these really long training blocks work for me. I find that I get pretty burnt out towards the end of 16 weeks and the build's just a bit too much. So with that being the case, things are going to look a little bit different for Tokyo. A little walking break is needed. It's crazy how 5 weeks ago I can run the fastest marathon of my life, and a mere 5 weeks later I'm struggling at like 9.5, 10-minute miles. Humbling, but never mind, it's all about the recovery. So the difference for Tokyo, I'm going to meet things in the middle and I'm going to aim for a 12-week block. So not as long as I'd normally do, and a little bit of a hybrid between what I did for Berlin and what I've done previously. So that'll basically mean I've got 4 weeks until I start the training block on the 1st of December. Now it's a pretty grim time in my opinion to be training for a marathon. I've done a couple of spring marathons and I'll be honest, it's not for me. I don't like training through the winter because it's dark, it's cold and it's usually wet. I'm aware in other countries the weather is much worse, and I'm in the UK, we don't have to deal with anything too extreme, but yeah, I just don't like it, being completely honest. So it's not an ideal time of the year for me to be training for a marathon, but also it's an incredible opportunity, and it's wild that I even got in. In a couple of minutes time I'll share how I got in and the details of that. So winter training aside, I'm up for it, very excited. I should probably get running a little bit again. Let's go. So yeah, 12-week training block, and I'm going to do the same split of runs that I did for Berlin. So we will be doing 4 runs a week, an easy run, a long run, and then 2 sessions midweek, and that will be tempos, intervals, the like. I'm going to be using the Runner training plan again, the Runner app, I've used it for the last couple of years. I'm used to it, so I'm going to stick with it for now. And then I'm also going to have my 2 strength sessions a week, which I've done pretty religiously now, and that's really helped to keep the niggles and injuries away, so that will be firmly in the structure as well. Right, I'm going to be honest, I'm absolutely boiling because it's weirdly muggy today, so I'm going to get my jacket off, get a couple more miles in, and then I will talk about how I got into Tokyo and what my goal is. It's a little bit early days for goal setting, but I'll share what I'm provisionally thinking at least.
Return to the back. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit me get up. First shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music. I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city.
Okay, Tokyo, how do I get in? Right, actually, I'm going to walk for this. I need to concentrate. So, how did I get into Tokyo? Well, for anyone that follows me on Instagram, I did a very extra announcement this week. But I'll be honest, there's no really exciting backstory behind this other than I got in on the ballot, which is crazy because it's one of the, if not the most competitive ballot to get into. And for those of you that don't know, I'll explain in just a moment. But yes, got in through the ballot, which is wild. So the Tokyo Marathon ballot has 3 different draws. The first one is prioritising people that live in Tokyo itself. The second draw will basically prioritise people that live in Japan and anyone that lives in Tokyo that didn't get in for the first time. And then finally, the third basically will include any residents of Japan and Tokyo that still didn't get in, and then international overseas runners, of which I am. So basically, the odds of getting in are about 2%. You're more likely to stumble across a Dementor in the Muggle suburbs.
The odds are astronomical.
I'm sorry, that's a very niche Harry Potter reference. But I guess what I'm trying to say, the odds are ridiculously slim. And when I tell you this next thing, it becomes even more crazy. So not only did I get in, but my partner also got in as well. So that chance of getting in at 2%, the odds of us both getting in, I don't know, someone who's really good at stats, let me know. It's going to be his first official timed marathon. He's ran a marathon before around the streets of where we live, but yeah, first proper timed marathon, and it's a world major and it's Tokyo, so yeah, pretty wild for him also. Probably carry on this run now. Go back this way. Also, just to acknowledge that I'm aware I'm talking about this very casually. I appreciate, as I've just said, the odds of getting in are ridiculous. I'm incredibly fortunate. And I know a lot of people that have entered the ballot years and years and years and years on the bounce and are desperate to get in. So I acknowledge that. I also want to acknowledge how fortunate we are to actually be able to take up the places and afford to do it, etc. So quick acknowledgement on that. But yeah, all of that aside, I'm ridiculously excited. So time goal, to be honest right now, I'm basing all of this on how things went in Berlin and the training block leading up towards that. As with any training block, you have no idea how it's going to go. I've already mentioned the fact that I really do not like winter training, so that might have a negative impact. But yeah, all of that aside, based on how things went in Berlin and my general fitness over the summer, I think I am capable of a bit more. So with a decent training block, I'm going to be aiming for about 3:20. Like I said, at this stage, who knows if that's realistic. As the training goes ahead, I will obviously review that and revise it and get something a little bit more specific. But yeah, for now, 3:20. And that is, of course, a complete arbitrary figure, 10 minutes faster than my current PB. But also, it would give me a Boston qualifying time, and I would absolutely love to run the Boston Marathon one day. For the 2026 one, I'll go up at age category, which means I've got a little bit of a buffer. So if I ran a 3:20, I would get in quite comfortably, I think. So basically, that's the rough plan for now. And then 1st of December, we go. I'm gonna capture as much of this as I can. I want to do a little bit of a, I don't know, road to Tokyo journey, so I'll be capturing it and putting kind of longer form stuff on YouTube. But also I share much more frequent kind of daily, weekly updates on Instagram as well. So if you're interested in a little bit more of the detail, a little bit more of the day-to-day stuff, please feel free to check out my Instagram as well. And yeah, obviously I will capture race day, the expo, and everything kind of leading up to it on that weekend in March. So yeah, please follow along if you want to watch my journey to Tokyo Marathon 2025. Still feels weird saying it out loud.